So we have reviewed all of the Best Picture nominees, and now we get the fun job of ranking them. So
Ooh,
who will rank
yes,
what where?
we shall see.
So Michelle, we come at this from very different perspectives. I come at it from the perspective of a filmmaker and a lifelong cinephile, and you have a very peculiar habit by which you don't watch movies most of the time, but then you watch all the Oscar movies.
Yeah, yep. I don't think it's that peculiar, but we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. I think it's just a really cool hobby. But yes, I don't watch films very much outside of this season, and then I watch a whole bunch, all of them. I try to watch all of the Oscar films in the season and write about them. But I don't have a background in theater or film or anything like that. I'm a mom, and I do this for fun.
Awesome. Well, let's get into it. Starting with number 10, Michelle, what do you have?
Ooh, 10. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Hmm. I have The Holdovers as number 10.
Ooh. No, you did not.
So, okay, so here it is. Alexander
Oh,
Payne once said when he accepted an award for writing Sideways, he says, I love that. He says, I'm a little sad that this type is the type of movie that gets accolades when it should be the norm. And I felt like The Holdovers was a very normal kind of movie in that I don't think it's award worthy necessarily.
oh,
I feel like it's
boy, it cuts deep.
I feel like it's sort of there to honor Paul Giamatti's career, and I accept that it's a little political. But I mean, there are things that I like about it, but it's definitely my least favorite. But I will see
Okay.
it again
All
because I
right.
said I would.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Okay.
fascinating to me. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, part of what I was thinking about is how likely am I to watch this movie again? So
Fair.
I'm like, yeah. But anyway, okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Number
You
nine.
made me mad. You made me mad right off the bat. I'm like, "Argh." Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Number nine. What do you got?
I have the zone of interest, although I don't know. I might have put that higher, but this was my ranking from a week or two ago, and I'm going to stick with it.
Very good. I have Killers of the Flower Moon right there.
Okay.
Number eight.
I know you're not going to agree with this, but I have Anatomy of a Fall.
Hmm. I do not agree, but that's okay. I have Maestro at number
Okay.
eight. Number seven,
Number seven, I have Poor Things.
I have Poor Things Doppelganger Barbie at seven.
Okay. Okay.
The twisted, the twisted adults only version.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
What do you have for number six?
I have Maestro for number six.
I have Anatomy of a Fall for number six.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our middle sections are fairly similar, I think.
Yeah. 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 All right. Number five. What do you got?
I have Barbie.
I have Poor Things. We
All
just
right.
swapped them. That's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They're just interchangeable, really. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Right.
just don't
Yeah.
put one on accident
Right,
when your
exactly.
kid's sitting in
You
the room.
yeah, you watch this one when you're a child, and then you watch this one when you're a little older.
Oh dear.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
Number four.
Okay. Well, I had to put this one at number four because they go together like peanut butter and jelly, and that is Oppenheimer. You
Very
know,
good.
Barbie. Yeah,
Got
that.
it. Yes. Number four, I have the zone of interest. It's
Oh.
I think just in terms of the level of difficulty in
Hmm.
achieving what it set out to do,
Hmm.
at least from my experience of watching it, I feel like it did set out or it did achieve what it set out to do. I don't know, like most films of this subject matter, how often I'm going to watch it again, but just in terms of the ambition and what they set out to
Hmm.
do, I thought was placed it pretty highly for me.
I would easily swap Barbie and the zone of interest with no problem.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, number three, what do you have?
Number three. This movie made me so upset, but I still gave it three, and that's Past Lives.
Hmm. Yes. Number three for me was American Fiction.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
man. Yeah, I love that movie. I think for a first timer for Cord Jefferson, I mean, to create something also walking a tightrope, also ambitious, telling two different types of stories and marrying them together, it doesn't feel like two stories. It feels like one story is a pretty amazing thing
Mhm.
and very, very rewatchable.
And I'm really thinking that I'm seeing this two sides of your brain in these rankings. How we talked
Mm.
about how you enjoy film.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
really understanding that more. How, I'm kind of going all, is it right brain? I don't remember what right brain, and you definitely are bringing in that film snob or whatever you want to call that other side.
You can call it that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Number two, what do you have?
Number two, you're not going to change my mind. I don't care what you think. It's The Holdovers.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. So so here's the thing. Like if somebody loves a movie, I don't know. I'll say what I think, but I won't be like, "What?" Like I'm not
Uh-huh.
that type of person and I
Yeah.
don't like uh, I don't know. I don't think it's very helpful discourse, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I
Yeah.
really like about it? It really made me feel like I was back in the 1970s.
Oh yeah, that time that you just before you were born.
It just brought me right back there. Pre life. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's funny. I had the same comment about Almost Famous. I was like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
Almost Famous was so authentic," and my friends were like, "Oh yeah, because you were there, right?" I'm like,
right.
yeah, sure.
I love that movie. Yeah.
My number two was I went back and forth on two and one slot. I did Oppenheimer for number two. Um,
Okay.
and I think the reason was just kind of all the things I said. The fact that they took this sprawling history of this very complicated man and they filled it with movie stars and IMAX cameras and amazing special effects to tell this incredible story. And
Yeah.
it's a very rewatchable movie that makes you lean in and delivers the goods at the same time.
Hmm.
Number one on the list.
I had to go with the movie that I enjoyed the most, and far and away, that was American Fiction for me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal movie. My number one is Past Lives. And I think what the ultimate decision for me was that Oppenheimer, it was between Oppenheimer and Past Lives. And I think about it in terms of rewatchability and skill and, all those things. And Oppenheimer was like why do I have balloons popping up?
Party like an Oscar party, right?
What was that? Well,
You
there's
must
the
have
cold
said
open right
something.
there.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's hilarious. Um,
At least it didn't happen during the zone of interest, during like a
oh
super
my goodness.
like tense moment.
Oh no. Oh man, that'd be something. Um, so I think where Oppenheimer is sort of all bluster, Past Lives is like almost no bluster and very confident in this a very kind of skeletal but emotional story where there are no villains. And yeah, it hit me right here. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Can't argue with that. Now, I have a question for you
yeah.
because we talked and you said you thought Oppenheimer would sweep.
Mm.
Now, what do you think about zone of interest for sound?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I, yeah, when I wrote about it, I said if they don't win for best sound, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of I don't presume to know what Oscar voters look for. I've heard that what happens is the people in those departments nominate each other, and then everybody in the academy gets to vote. So
Okay.
yeah, I would really hope that they would see just how special of a movie that is. And given the hype for some of the other films, it might be its best shot at an Oscar. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but it is, I mean, absolutely deserved.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, so you've done this, did you say this is your third year or fourth year doing
This
this?
is my fourth year.
So
Yep.
this is okay. So this is your fourth year doing this Oscar project. Um, is there anything that you've learned this year that um, will equip you going forward, or something that you hadn't thought of before, or is this something you even want to keep doing?
Great question. I've asked myself that. I've asked myself if I want to keep doing this. I've had a hard time the last month or so,
Mm,
just emotionally
mm,
with the documentaries, the zone of interest. There were some really difficult films,
mm,
um, and important. So I think, I'm going to reflect on how I can kind of really focus on taking care of myself and my mental health while I watch some of these because I really get deeply impacted
mm,
um, and so, yeah, no, I think I will continue to do it. I have learned one of the things that I really like and that I really appreciate that I've learned talking to you is starting to see kind of some of that left brain stuff.
mm,
Um, you know, so I think that that's something I'll continue to see and appreciate more. The way things are shot or, the sound element, just seeing a film for more than just the story.
mm,
Um, and then and also appreciating the art of a film and maybe
mm.
not being as tied in to how it ends or things like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm growing. I want to kind of I don't want to get too go over to the Zach side too much because I like our balance, right? I think what I've taken away the most from this season is just this thought thinking about life outside of my bubble, thinking
Mm,
about the things that are happening in the world and what I can do to help humanity outside of my little zone.
mm. Yeah.
So, that's definitely been probably the biggest takeaway for me.
Mm. That's great. Going off of that, I think, people say like award shows aren't important. I think they are important, especially in the context of movies, because if there weren't award shows, there wouldn't be like award movies. And for some people, movies is the only opportunity they have to travel or to meet people not like themselves. And so I think those are very important. And I would also want to add that one of the things I learned from doing this with you was just how important it is to engage as an audience. Just, it helps me as a filmmaker to listen to what audience members love and what they respond to. And it gets me thinking about like when do you give into that? When do you reward that? And when do you hold it back? And why do you hold it back? And I
Hmm.
think all those things are really important. So you have a film like Barbie, which gives everything to you, while there is a message and there is some thoughts that you have, but it largely gives everything to you. Whereas The Zone of Interest is a film that withholds a lot and forces
Hmm.
you to lean in more.
Hmm.
And then you have a movie like Oppenheimer, which is like right down the middle. Like it's entertaining and like, wait, what did he say? Like what?
Hmm.
And that gets you thinking on a whole other level. So I think it's great to have these big films and these little films, especially for the little films, if they can get the recognition and
Yes.
it just makes people see things in a whole new way, kind of like you were saying. So
Yeah.
one more question for you. Are
Yep.
you movied out?
I'm not. I'm not.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like this towards the end of Oscar season. I don't know. I think that it inspires me to want to watch more movies. And
Mm,
then life happens, we go into summer, and then I don't do it as much. But no, I've actually thought about, and I thought at the end of last year, the same thing. I thought about kind of trying to do this a little bit more throughout the year,
mm,
maybe with some TV series, maybe, other films. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I kind of like to avoid the films that are current because I
sure.
want to watch them for the first time during that season.
Mm,
But I could go back and watch other films and write about them.
mhm.
I like to write and I don't do it nearly enough. And this is basically the only time I do it, unless it's an email to the school about my son or something. So, yeah, I think it's inspired me to want to write more and yeah, maybe continue to see some films. I already have a bet from a friend to watch The
Mm,
Color Purple, um, the original.
mm,
And
mhm.
if I don't like it, I think I get $20. So,
All right.
So I know I'm going to watch that.
Okay. Well, I do love your writing, and I absolutely love doing this project with you. So thank you for joining me, and this being a fun thing that we could do together. So
Yeah, thanks.
yeah,
Thanks for being my movie friend.
absolutely.